Hello, welcome to our weekly astrological transits. And whoa, phew, we made it through a very tense time, very tense and intense time. The most biggest voodoo daddy in the room being Mars, Pluto opposition. And Mars is just speeding past. It's there in Leo now at 5 degrees, and Pluto is there at 3 degrees. So that was there's definitely a lot of things resulting from this opposition, this third one. It was very tense. I'm not going to go over the world news at the moment, but it's past now, this, and it's moving, it's changing. So a lot of this kind of intense energy is now past us, which is good. And we still have this little cluster of things that we're going to be dealing with for a little while. This is just, you know, um, this is just pointing to a lot of um, discontent, at the odds with things. We couldn't be more polarized on so many things. I was just listening to, I think I mentioned it last time. It's like an 8 hour podcast, but they go into it with the astrology podcast. Um, and the topic on Saturn and Neptune, they go into it. David Brennan, David, I forget his first name. Um, he's the one that wrote the big book on Hellenistic astrology. But anyway, they go into hundreds of years of Saturn and Neptune conjuncting, and of course they'll be all in all kinds of different signs, but they go through the energies of what that is and then kind of mush it out per sign. But there's some definite themes, and it's a fantastic expose. It's they did a fantastic job. They do on a lot of those topics that they deep dives, a lot of research, really good support. So the astrology podcast, you can find it on YouTube. Anyway, I just wanted to show you, okay, so we're April 29th. Before I go into the whole week, this is past, and we kind of have a little bit of a rest. There's not a whole lot going on this week, which is really good. So I want to take this opportunity to share with you this Saturn and Neptune ingress, or this little dance that they're doing. And I'm going to change this to months. So we can see right now that they're both in direct motion, right? Neptune is at 1 degrees Aries. It just at the end of March went forward into Aries. And it was forward, but it's in Aries. Moved into Aries, and then Saturn is still kind of, heading to the end of Pisces. So a month from now, just try to keep your eye on them. Look at Saturn is now, moves at the end of May, moves into Aries. So look how close they are. They get really, really close. So they're both now in Aries, and look at they're at 1 degree apart still. We're in June, the end of June, almost like 1st of July. Now that, now they go retrograde, both of them. Let's see, I believe Neptune goes first and then Saturn. Let's just do it real quick. I forget. All right, so we're gonna still watch it. Yeah, Neptune goes first. It's July 6th week. That's maybe not the exact date because I'm just going by weeks. And then I think the next week, yeah, there it is, Saturn set stations. So look at still 1 and 2 degrees apart. So now they're both stationed and they're both turning around pretty much together, 1 week apart. Um, but being, Saturn is going to have a faster orbit because it's closer to the sun, right? So it's going to be moving away from, it's going to be moving back into, it's going to go to zero Aries and then back into Pisces a little faster. So it's going to pull away. Watch that. So right now they're 1 degree. Okay, so now it's still 1 degree. Okay, now they're like 2 degrees in September. Now they're 4 degrees in October. See, because it's the fast orbit. They're both retrograding. All right, now they're almost 5. Yeah, they're 4 degrees there. Probably starting to slow down. Okay. January, slowing down. Um, you can see they're getting like 2 degrees now, so you know that Saturn would probably be slowing down. And there's Saturn. Let's see. There we go. Okay, so Saturn now is 29. Okay, so it's slowing way down. Let's go by the weeks. All right, so we're like, look, it's 29:59, and here we're like just barely 30 minutes, 32 minutes away. So go to the next one. Um, Here now it just passed it. So we go back, let's go back. You can see Neptune here. Let's go by the days. Okay, so here we go. Um, just look at this. There's 00 already now. So we're February for Valentine's Day. Think about Valentine's Day this next year. Okay, they're gonna actually conjunct. So we're at 35 and 5 degrees. 35. See, Neptune's slower. It's not gonna go too fast. Saturn here, 19 minutes. Saturn, 26 minutes. 32 minutes. 39 minutes. 45, 46. Look at there, just past it. Okay, so I could go hours and then we get it right on there. 45, 46. So we're just gonna see now they're right here. Okay, so if I do it one more time, we should see Saturn jump over, I think, maybe two more times onto the other side there. See, okay, so it's on one side of it. So what is that? February 20th. See, so it's right there. Look at 45, 45. So if I go one more hour up, it goes just past it. See, it's on the other side. And then it would, there they are, conjunct on February 20th. Just a little bit after, just think Valentine's Day and you'll get it about right. All right, so then I don't want to keep showing more, but you can see how it was very close. So look, it's going to be right at the 0 degrees, 45 seconds. I mean, minutes. 0 degrees, 45 minutes. I mean, that's crazy that it's just they're right there together. So this expose that they go through is really, really amazing on all the different things in history um, that happened during those times. Let's go back. All right. So definitely worth working through. Let's go up the months here. I got bear with me once I let's go back to the present. All right. Today, the 29th, Tuesday. Okay, so we're seeing that they're getting really close. Sometimes it's just really nice to see those things, like to kind of get that idea in your head. So this week, we're starting out with the Gemini, moon in Gemini. Well, yesterday was finishing up in Taurus, finished up crossing over, yesterday, just back up a second, just crossed over Uranus. So kind of unexpected, maybe earthy, uh, inspiring around the home, sudden securities, sudden interest in gardening. Okay, so anyway, now we're moving into a kind of more of a wild and crazy moon going into Gemini. So we could be bombarded with information, lots of things, more communications, things starting to ramp up. And then tomorrow it will go over Jupiter. So there could be some more large emotions, large thoughts, things sped up. We got the moon energy, with Jupiter, as this goes on tomorrow. Look at the moon. See, look at tomorrow. Ooh, perfect. So tomorrow, Eastern time, just almost at 1 o'clock, we have the moon conjunct Jupiter. So that's pretty lively. That's like large emotions, big ideas, because we got the Gemini influence here. So this can be very interesting. So just take advantage of good opportunities, maybe. All right. So anyway, other than that, today we still, can still coming into this little bit of a busyness and frazzle. So at the moon here, it's very interesting because we've got it making aspects over to the Aries crew, with Mercury, as it gets on into the sign. into further into the signs. So we have a positive flow of maybe information, liveliness, we have that, and then we have it flowing the moon over to Mars. So we kind of like the moon's in between Mercury and Mars. So you could be have more drive for communication. You can communicate to have more drive. There's like a kind of a little happy uh, balance in here. The moon is it's all they're all masculine signs, and it's kind of like a good little double sextile. Okay, so but anyway, it could be a little frazzled or busy. Don't miss the forest through the trees, make sure you stop and smell the roses, all that kind of stuff. All right, moving on to tomorrow. We kind of we've got the moon, like I said, conjuncting here with Jupiter. And this also is like just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. This could be over exaggerated a little bit, so use discretion. There are opportunities, but there could be a lot. It could be big ideas, big emotions, like I was saying. So you might just have to have a little discretion, you might save your energy for the best things. We could be getting like kind of spring fever energy. Yeah. All right. Venus moves just here, just about. Look at, ooh, 29:59. Let's just go like maybe an hour. It will go into Aries. Yes. Look at that. 0, 0. Oh, yes. I hit on the head. Love it. Okay. So like an hour later. So cool. Venus moves into Aries in the afternoon tomorrow. So not Venus's favorite place, but it's like it would be more like the goddess Athena. It's like a feminine energy, but a badass. Ronda Rousey, female fighters, somebody that's maybe, beautiful, um, uh, elegant, but yet doesn't take crap and is not one to, maybe be too sensual and give it away. It's, more, um, say it'd be more masculine, sort of feminine. It's like taking that feminine energy and just making it more masculine. So Venus, it's also kind of going for what you want, aiming for what you want, being aggressive toward what you want, having the energy for it, creating something new, having maybe pioneer something new, something that you want, defining it. This is the creative moment, with Venus in Aries, that's like the creative, maybe new creations. And getting right there, conjuncting Neptune, that's putting the ideas, Neptune, that etheric realm, that's Disney, that's all the stuff behind something, the fantasy, the production behind. I don't mean in any bad way, by no means, just the use of illusion, bringing that in from the unknown, bringing it in from the other side. Venus being right there, that's a nice, amazing, beautiful, divine, spiritual, conjunction when Venus and Neptune meet up. But they're in Aries though. They'll meet up in Aries, so it's a little spunky. It's like Venus and Neptune is, higher love, soulmates, spiritual energy, and dreams can be realized there. But the Aries, so maybe what would be good for everybody to do is look at where the Aries part of your chart is, or if there's any planets in Aries. And that's where maybe you can also actualize what you want right now, or how the road to get to what you want. It's new, it's Aries. Where does that newness, that creation, that pioneering spirit, where is that in your chart? If you know your time, what house is it in? What slice of life? Is it in the second house? Is it, your possessions and things? Is it in your sixth house of uh, work and service and health and habits, of health habits? Is it in your 11th house of others and seeing it from a higher perspective and doing it from, the good of all? Is it in your fourth house of home, of either where you live, your family, or anything communal. So where is that Aries energy in your chart? Where is it that you can dream, where you can bring, what you're wanting to manifest, what you're wanting to dream? Where is that? And that's happening now, right now. Look where it is this week. Venus moves, starting Wednesday, moves into Aries, then moves over yeah, Thursday and Friday, you can see it moves over Neptune. And we're getting still communications because it's over, it's in between, how do I say it? It's it's on the other side, but it's getting closer to the Mercury side of it. That's what I'm saying. So on one side it was Neptune on one, next to it. Now, Mercury's on the other side. So it's able to communicate that. All right, did I miss a couple things? What else did I want to tell you about? Let's see. All right, we talked about that. It's just a bit of a mutable mess. Oh yeah, Venus here. Or see, the moon is also going to, because moon is in Gemini here. Wednesday. It's also going to at later degrees. It's going to square over to Saturn. This could put a little realism in anything that might seem too pie in the sky or the big ideas or something. It might ground it or make it have a little bit more reality check to it. So that might be a good thing right in there. Okay. So make sure that, that's going to help you see it. It's like, oh, this is wonderful. And it's not, or I'm not so sure. It's like, yes, go for it. That'd be kind of that. Yeah, okay, that was the other thing I wanted to make sure I got in. Okay, Thursday, May 1st, May Day, moon moves into Cancer. Okay, so we can get a little moody, could get a little wanting comfort. This, it's going to be squaring all the Aries stuff. It's going to be squaring, first of all, um, it right before it squares Saturn and then it goes and squares Venus and then it squares Neptune right away. Boom, boom. So it could put a little wanting to do something because it feels good, feels right. And just because it feels good doesn't mean it's the right thing. Sometimes we do the opposite of what we need to do, that kind of an energy. Um, so make sure that we're feeding our soul, not just our urges. It's like the need for comfort may override or overrule or pull on you. It's like, no, I need to stick to my diet. No, I need to follow through with what I said. I said this, I need to follow through with it. It's that kind of an energy. All right. What else Thursday? That's pretty much it. Moon and moon stuff. Talked about that. Sun and moon are sextile. They're a nice degree apart. I mean, the moon's going to be moving, but the moon's in Cancer, and it's sextile over to the sun. So they get along. That's like a nice energy, nice couple days with between sun and moon, harmonious. All right, moving into Friday. We got, I think that's, yeah, pretty much the conjunction there. We clicked ahead. So we have that conjunction of Venus, we're kind of coming into it all week, but it gets, it's exact on Friday. And then, it's also going to, bring up what we feel inside. It's going to make, what we, anything that needs to be recognized and brought out in the open to heal. That's a, a big day. Also, the moon in Cancer is going to be trining Saturn over here in Pisces. So we have that water energy. That also could be helping it heal anything because it's compassionate, it's water, which would be kind of good balance with maybe a lot of this fire that we're getting into. We don't want to put out the fire, but we don't want it to burn too hot too quickly. It's just maybe having a cool drink while you're looking at the blazing fire start. Um, yeah. All right, moving into Saturday. Anything else I want to say in here? That's all good. Moving into Saturday. Yeah. Um, Moon moves into Leo and Moon goes over. This is going to be kind of a testy day, testy time. Um, Moon conjuncts Mars. Let's first talk about that. So, we've got they're kind of at odds, and Mars is happy in Leo, so it's there. in its sister sign, happy to be out of Cancer, happy to be, like freewheeling. And then now here comes the moon, like a little dose of Cancer, but so it's like, oh, it's like you get out with your friends and like all of a sudden here comes your little brother. You're like, oh man, you know, crap, right? That kind of energy. But for some reason the little brother's cool, or the moon is cool. It's in Leo. It's not in Cancer. So it's kind of like, well, that's good, but it could be dramatic. It could be energy to be dramatic, or yeah, the mood is drama, or bring up drama, or um, yeah, let's just keep it on that. It could be maybe taking a risk, feel like taking a risk, feel like creating, um, being emotional about risk taking or creating Moon Mars energy. But then we throw the monkey wrench into this picture. Now they're both, now that they're conjunct, okay, there they got their crap solved. But now they look over there and they go, oh yeah, that's right, we're opposite Pluto. So Pluto asks, I think Pluto in Aquarius here asks, well, if you're going to squabble or come up with something, let it be something worthwhile. Let it have some depth. Let it have something that's good for all, but yet good for you. So it's like if you're going to sing to me, sing a song that I like. Sing something, in a good key that you sound good with, but that I like to hear, my kind of music. Don't sing something that I don't like. So that's kind of like what Pluto is saying. If you guys are going to be all drama on stage and everything, do something that's fun and entertaining for me to watch. Okay, so I think that gets along that energy there. And if you don't, then it's going to be like you're going to get rotten tomatoes and eggs thrown at you. Okay. Anything else that day? Um, um, Also, one other thing, like with the moon with this whole energy is kind of like it makes you look at who you are and not apologizing for what's underneath, for taking the mask off and own it. It's like, I don't believe in this virus crap. I'm taking this mask off. This is lies, or I just being silly. I mean, that's true, but on your own self, you're taking off your veneer. You're taking off maybe ways that you think you should respond. Uh, yeah, the ways you think you might have to fit in, or to present yourself. So with Pluto there, it's like, no, you just don't apologize for being who you are. Just own it. As long as it's cool and above board and right. All right. May the 4th be with you. Saturday, Sunday. Okay, or Sunday, May the 4th. May the 4th be with you. Pluto goes retro. It's stationed here. So it's like, okay, get turn around now. I'm done. I gotta like chill. Um, so what's kind of interesting about like retrogrades, especially the outer ones, it's like a time of reprieve. You get a little, instead of like the 3 week follow-up of Mercury or the Venus 40 some days of buying, it's like it really going down and seeing, do I really need this? Is this the right thing to buy? Is this worth it? Relationship worth it? That's kind of stuff with Venus retrograde. Mars is just like, I don't want energy right now for that. I don't want to do that. I'm just gonna chill here. So other than that, when the outer more for distant planets, it's kind of like a time of reprieve, especially the very outer ones. So you get a big break of their intensity, of their intense energy. And Pluto's been slowing down. So it's been kind of like that anyway. And then it was kind of, that's what was so intense about it with Mars, you know, um, and this is the first time that they've been forward, Mars, they hit on a forward degree in Leo, and Mars is moving forward in Leo. I don't know, it was like the Leo King did an expose on that. It was like 1800 BC. It's like around the Egyptian times when the last time this aspect, Mars opposition Pluto in Leo, in Aquarius, and Mars actually moving direct, because they he hit it, we're moving retrograde direct. So very, very crazy stuff. So anyway, we get a little bit of reprieve. We get like, 5 months to maybe come to terms with being proactive about things rather than reactive. I think again, this polarization here, in our society, in our world, is making everybody very reactive. And this is done by design. This is all done by design. But anyway, we can now maybe regroup and see things now that we get some of the clearing of a lot of the things in Pisces. We can get some clarity with some of the planets moving into Aries before we get more retrogrades, but we get a reprieve. We get to again get more facts that weren't out there for the masses. And once big part of people see what's really going on, then we can again be more proactive as a race of people, a group of people, not a race, all races of people, against people that are against people. Or I don't want to say against, but be proactive together and create something new, and the against the other will just fall away, kind of, because we're just having a whole new way of thinking about that, or refocusing, reformulating. So this is a big part of this energy. So we're coming into that May the 4th. We've got crises that with personally now, that things you've been struggling with will maybe take a back seat for a little while. You get to simulate it, not have to go attack it and be there and defend it, or whatever we're doing, fighting, realizing, analyzing, working, whatever. We all have our different grades of all of that, but a lot of the struggle will kind of reprieve for a while, take a foot off the accelerator, which will be good. It's like we can assimilate. And a lot of times when you do that, your subconscious figures it out and it bubbles up and things resolve. We just get it intuitively, especially if you're paying attention. All right, Monday, May 5th. Moon moves into Virgo later in the day. Let's go hours. Let's grab it. There it is. Okay. So we move finish through the dramatic Leo, and we get into the cleanup Virgo moon. We get to get busy, we get to clean, we get to garden, we get to house clean, we get to paint, we get to organize, we get to shuffle around, we get to get things in order. That's good part of having the Virgo moon energy, put them lists and tasks to work. And also Mercury is sextile Jupiter. So we've got that Aries, we got the Aries fire, and then we've got that Jupiter Gemini air. That's a good go energy. Get her done. It's like, communications, big talk, big communication, big ideas, expressing things wildly, aggressively, but that's a real good energy to put to use for that. What else? That's pretty much it. There's not, this week we've kind of got a reprieve, thank goodness. Let's see, 7, won't be a little longer. Then we'll have the sun going over Uranus. But yeah, more to come. But this is pretty much it for this week. And I guess have a enjoyable week off. The planets until May 4th are still moving direct, still use this energy to put things in. I mean, not that we can't end it, you shouldn't totally live by that, but sometimes you get to go. All the energy is moving forward. But then again, Pluto, when it goes, retrograde, it's like not horrible, because we get a little reprieve of things that have been having to maybe put a lot of extra energy on that we could use for other things. So maybe just by moving forward, some of these other things will end, and we'll be able to put that energy into new creations. All right, good switch up week. Everybody be well. More to follow. Thanks for listening. Bye for now.